Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for turning in to our Pod Vision. I stand corrected. We are your host, Tarpon Total Healthcare. We are a chiropractic office located in Tarpon Springs, Florida. And at our chiropractic clinic, our endeavor is to relieve your pain without the use of drugs or surgeries and provide you spinal adjustments that you can trust. My name is Angel. I'm the patient liaison for our office, and I'm also your direct connection to wellness. And today on our show, we have a provider that has got 3 different locations, that has done a beautiful job at combining the holistic side to the preventative side of medicine. So I'd like to welcome Dr. Malhotra.
Hi, Angel.
It is so nice to have you here on our show with us today. Thank you so much.
It's such a pleasure. You know, it's the first time I'm hearing you say the motto that relieve pain without medicine.
Yes.
And I love it. Because when somebody gets pain medicine, they don't really get pain medicine.
Right.
The pain medicine gets them.
Ooh, that's so correct, actually.
Yes. And they're stuck for such a long time that even when a dentist writes you a pain prescription for 3 days, you are 6 times as likely to become a drug addict compared to somebody who didn't write you or didn't get that prescription.
That's incredible.
So it is so important to keep that in our minds, that how can we help the patient adequately without pain medicine?
I love that, which is exactly why you have been invited to this show.
Oh.
I love the medical providers that embrace holistics first with the mindset of root cause mentality. Let's find out what's actually going on with you and not mask your symptoms, and we're just going to push what's actually going on under a rug.
Totally. You know, before the advent of modern medicine, people used to heal.
Yeah.
And if you don't even allow that process, you've suddenly taken away the body's ability to cope and do what it usually does. And sometimes patients are in a rush. Hey, give me an antibiotic.
Yeah.
And we'll say, listen, let's just wait. Over 90% of these illnesses are viral. You won't need an antibiotic.
Yeah.
But for those who actually insist, we say, okay, let's write a prescription, but don't fill it. And hopefully they obey us and don't succumb to their fears and say, okay, how can we do this without medication? So it's a beautiful philosophy that how can we allow the body or just gently support it without putting a bunch of chemicals inside. So
because I know that the shelf life of drugs, it varies. Some are shorter acting, some are longer lasting, but there are some components that are in these pills. Boy, this is going to be a rabbit hole. I'm not going to let myself go down.
That'll never leave your body.
They never leave your body, ever.
I'm with you there.
Ever.
Because our immune cells will capture them because they're foreign to us, and then they just don't know how to get rid of it.
Right.
So even when this cell dies, another cell captures them and holds on to them, and there we are. So we have some cancer starting off just because of that irritation that's been caused by that one foreign piece.
Well, and so a lot of people don't understand the truth that pain is actually your friend.
Yes.
Pain lets you know that there's something wrong in the body and you need to stop, drop, and roll and address it.
Yes.
When pain is not your friend, it becomes like, Aunt Margaret from Connecticut that has overstayed her welcome. And but pain unaddressed, we have a different mindset now. Going back to the turn of the century, when the campaign came to the United States called A Pill for Your Ill.
Okay.
And they offered this immediate solution in tablet form, where if you have a pain, you don't need to go to the herbalist. You don't need to go to a chiropractor. Chiropractic care was very alive and well at that time.
Yeah.
And the campaign against holistic medicine began, and it has been a crapshoot ever since.
It is.
Truthfully.
It's a struggle. It's a struggle of how to educate patients to say what is reasonable, when is reasonable, and who to go to.
True.
Because there are some people out there, all they want to do is impress the patient, and that's not it.
Right.
Our roles are to hold hands with the patient and let's walk together.
Right.
Not here to impress you. I'm going to be here as a guide for your journey and make sure you walk it nice and safe until you're at the other end.
Right.
So no, I don't have to be a circus artist for this, that I'm going to pull this out, pull that out. No, let's just sit down reasonably and discuss this.
You said a very interesting word, reasonable.
Yes.
And that's a difficult thing to find, including in your field. I've been in the medical field
Yes.
for a long time. On the administrative and the management side, I would never want to do what y'all do. Honestly, I tried it. That was the only way my dad was going to pay for college. And I had A's and B's and everything. And then in A and P, I had a 40. I don't want blood, pee, and poo. I don't even know how I made it as a mother. I don't even know. But my hat goes off to for y'all that chose to have this profession, which actually leads me to my first question for you. So the proper pronunciation of your first name is
Gaurav.
not guava.
That's a fruit. It's a nice tropical exotic fruit.
If you could be a fruit, I could see that you would be a guava, knowing you as well as I do.
I think so. With that name, what else?
Well, people they don't say my name correctly either. So with an interesting spelling, I could understand where somebody would try to say it and butcher it. So I like to make sure that fits out there.
Angel.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
With the J.
With a J.
Yes, Angel.
Yeah. If you get a sunburn, you put Angel. Very simple.
The French flair coming out.
So, of all of the things in medicine as a practice, why did you choose to be a primary care physician?
Well, when I graduated out of residency, I had the option of going to do cardiology or other specialties. And primary care was the only specialty where I could get my immigration into the United States.
Okay.
So they said the government said that if you go and serve in primary care in a rural area, then we will allow you to stay in the United States.
Huh.
So my goal was that I'm going to finish this damn stint and go away and do whatever fellowship I want to do. And I was interested in cardiology. When I came here and I started working, and you feel like you have become a part of the patient's life.
True.
And that feeling I never felt when I was practicing with cardiologists or in cardiology. And I couldn't leave.
I'm personally very glad that you didn't leave.
So here I was, and I am also so glad that I didn't leave.
Mm-hmm.
Because, there were times in my life where I thought maybe I should have done cardiology, I would have made more money. And then I felt that it would have been a miserable life, because now I get hugs from my patients every single day. Every room I get into, the patient, not with respect, but with love, which is something even greater, I feel, stands up, embraces me and says, I am just so glad to see you. And that sentiment, I don't think I would have received from any other specialty but primary care. So I am blessed to be in primary care.
I agree. Brooksville and Spring Hill is blessed to have you, because that's where you started.
I started in Brooksville, my own practice, and I started in Spring Hill for somebody else before then. Not a single spot that I was where I felt that maybe I was, I felt like a foreigner. I felt alienated. One bit, not one bit.
Oh, you've been wonderfully received.
Just embraced as if I was their child, as if I was, by the young ones, as if I was their dad. It's just been a beautiful feeling.
And how long have you been in the very bright yellow building right there by Springstead High School?
There, we had that for about 15 years, but I've been in the area for about 25.
Okay.
So I started in 1998.
Okay.
It's exactly 25 years now.
Yeah.
Yes. It's my silver jubilee.
Yeah, the silver jubilee.
That's it.
So I know that your wife had her practice that was up the road from your location, and then recently, over the last couple of years, you've combined.
Yes. We used to work out of the same office. Mm-hmm. I realized we couldn't do that. So I said, okay, I'm moving. So I moved out to the other office. I said, but you can't join me in that building. But the 4 buildings
Yeah.
were sold as one block because they are actually one parcel.
Right.
So we built the other one out, and during COVID time, she was able to move over. The
Right.
lease was finishing, and this huge burden of $5,000 in rent suddenly
Fine.
went away.
Well,
So
that was a blessing too.
blessing after blessing.
Yes.
Yes.
So now you have 3 locations.
Yes.
So your primary location is in Spring Hill.
Correct.
And then your secondary location is right down the road from here, actually.
Right here.
In
We
Port
could walk
Richey.
to it.
Almost. Not me, not today.
Come on, now, Jill.
These shoes were not made for that. And
Okay.
then your third location is over in Tampa.
Yes, it is.
And you have a handful of providers.
I have just providers who care. We are totally now, I think, 12 or 13.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And it is just so beautiful that they enter the practice and they are not burdened with a huge volume of patients.
Right.
So we get to spend, an hour with a patient without even batting an eyelid.
Right.
So let's just sit and chat.
That's incredible. Honest
yes.
to God. Because you take Medicare Advantage plans.
Yes, we do.
And now that was my world for a number of years.
Really?
And it made my eye twitch. Oh, I stepped out of healthcare for a while. It was disgusting to me because the HMO or the managed care
yes.
aspect, which understanding the endeavor that they had initially makes complete sense. Your primary care doctor needs to know every doctor that you're seeing. They need to know the medications you're taking.
Yes.
You can't be on 15 different medications and your primary has no idea but of 3 of them, and
Correct.
he prescribed them. So, but then the model changed.
Yes.
And so the incentive to the primary was don't refer out so much. Keep as much as you can in-house.
Yes.
But then there's areas that a primary would really benefit from having a specialist because it's their specialty.
Always.
Right.
Always. So what was happening in the Medicare world was that there was a lot of overuse of resources.
Right.
People going for a stress test every year when they don't even need it. They have no symptoms. They've had a cardiac bypass. It's not even indicated. But somebody's performing this. People getting shots into their body of cortisone, etc., that are destroying their body.
Right.
So they said, primary care, can you control this? Who else can control it? Somebody who's not skilled in medicine cannot control this.
True.
So they used to have case managers first in multiple insurance companies who tried to control it. Couldn't happen. Patient says, am I going to listen to my doctor? Am I going to listen to you? So they made the doctor responsible for it. Say, you're responsible now. If there is overuse, it's your business, not ours. So I think those physicians who can balance it properly actually provide patients a wonderful service. Because overuse of healthcare services is a hazard.
It's very taxing.
Besides being financially a hazard, it is actually a health hazard.
True.
It takes away a day from the patient's life. It takes away money from the insurance company. It exposes the patients to risks that they never needed to be risked eventually.
Right.
So you start thinking, what can stop it? So those primary cares who can balance it well have a beautiful thing. For instance, in our office, we started to spend more money on the patient right out of our practice. We started to give them supplements that we know have proven benefit.
Okay.
We built a gym with a personal trainer to bring them in and say, this fitness will bring you the medical fitness as well. Let's get you the physical fitness. And not only that, we started to realize that they're emotionally happier.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Because they're meeting other people over there, they're socially bonding, they love to come there. Now it has become the watering hole for them.
Yeah.
They come and I see them not only inside the gym, but outside. Their session of an hour or so is over. They're outside there chatting, giggling, whatever. And if I walk by, they will call me over. I'll get my hug for the day as I start my day. And it's just beautiful to see these seniors blend in and have a place which is built for true healthcare.
Right.
My father just turned 90, for instance.
Wow.
I was in India about a week ago. And he had his first heart attack when he was 55. Up until then, I used to listen to everything he said. Thereafter, he started listening to everything I said.
Well, at least he did.
He did. And now he's 90 years old.
Wow.
At 90, I did not change his medicines at all. I did not see what he's taking in pill form. But all I did was got him just established with a personal trainer. Say 1 hour every day of the week, 5 days a week, you go here. He's had maybe 10 sessions or so since I left him with the trainer.
Right.
And he says, my life seems to be changing. I'm getting more strength. I feel more energetic. So I think if people, like you said, can bring modalities together,
Right.
we can do the patient a favor if we can do it sensibly. For those who deprive the patient of care, then they are only in it for the money.
Yes.
And they shouldn't even be practicing.
I agree wholeheartedly.
So those scenarios we all know. In our practice, we know who are the doctors in our town who do it. We won't name them, but we know them. There are men and women doctors who we see who are doing this kind of stuff, and we feel sad for the patient because the patient comes to us at the end of the entire thing. And we are unable to help them at this point in time because the entire burden of neglect has now fallen upon us. So if patients establish with us early on in their health care,
Right.
we would avoid all these things, take care of stuff, and not abandon them when they really need us terribly.
Yeah.
So yes, there are the models of practice in different ways, and you need a reasonable person to sit there and say, what would I like to do for somebody who's related to me?
Man, so I was a practice manager for a local doctor a number of years ago, and I had said, I had interviewed another doctor or nurse practitioner not long ago, and I told her that I went from being an office manager to a human fire extinguisher. And so the patients would storm into my office and be critically upset because of the way that they had been spoken to. The doctor was exacerbated with them because they weren't taking their medication properly, and then the patient feels stupid, and then he confirmed it. and it was just awful. And those experiences make a person's healthcare plummet. Their
Absolutely.
emotions cannot get regulated. The rest of them can't get regulated. I've seen significantly different at your office. I remember meeting with you a long time ago, and we were having ridiculous conversations.
About the chimps.
About the chimps. That's another show. And
Yes.
and so I looked out
I
the
interviewed
window
you.
and I'm like, what are all of these older people? I love old people. They're my people. I was raised by old people. And so
They're the blessed ones.
they
Hopefully
are.
we'll
There
get
are
there
historians.
too. Yes.
And they've got the best stories to share. And they're out there working out. And this one lady, she was feeling the music so much. And she wasn't doing any of the moves that the trainer was having everybody else do. She was going to shimmy this way and then shimmy that way. And it was so much fun to just watch them be themselves and outside, breathing in fresh air, with camaraderie of other patients. I have not seen a practice that is like yours anywhere else in the many different states that I've been in healthcare.
That's so sweet of you to say. We do visit international level trade shows to see what are the new technologies that we can bring into the practice rather than just drugs.
Right.
And we have introduced multiple things. You remember the time when people used to wear glasses with magnets or a knee brace with magnet, etc.? So magnetic therapy is available,
Right.
and has shown benefit, but nobody uses it because no drug company pushes it.
Well, why?
So we looked at the studies, and all of us sat down, decided that yes, this equipment is useful, is affordable for a practice.
Right.
Let's introduce it. And this is how we start introducing different things.
Right.
People have depression or anxiety, how that can be treated without medicines like Xanax or things that can make you addicted, leave you paralyzed or dependent on physicians for life. So how to treat those without medications, how to treat insomnia without medications, how to treat knee pain without medications. So all these things are now introduced into our practice, and I love it. Because we all, in our medical training, we were never introduced to all these things.
Oh, of course not.
And now that we are seeing, and we all discuss the studies that, hey, vitamin K2 might help you. So don't just go and buy vitamin D, but you could buy a combination, and this will prevent both atherosclerosis as well as bone deterioration. So small things, and sometimes we just give them free to the patient. Out of our practice, we have so many freebies for our patients who establish with us. Say, this is for you. Here's a year's supply. Here's a 2-year supply. We don't care whether you stay with us or you don't. Enjoy. You can read up on it. We can discuss it, and you can read up on it and see what you want to do.
I love that.
So we love the practice. I just enjoy what these young people have brought in. They've brought in the fresh spirit and fresh knowledge, and the practice is able to sustain itself even if they spend an hour or two with a single patient.
And that is incredible to me also, because one of the things that I was a human fire extinguisher over was I waited for 2.5 hours in your waiting room. It doesn't smell good. It was clean, but it doesn't smell good. Well,
Okay.
people.
Yes.
And then he spends 5 minutes with me, and most of it was going over my medications and yelling at me because I'm fat, which he, by the way, isn't any smaller than me.
Listen.
So to
I am so
spend-
sorry you had to experience that practitioner.
Well, yes, but it's not like that.
See, that is
in
no
your
longer,
model.
that is no longer a practitioner.
True.
Then it is simply a business. And it might as well be run by corporations. And there are many
Sure.
practices here that are run by huge corporations that are
Yes.
owned by private equity firms or companies from New York that have come here and bought these practices. And there are people established with them. They don't even they're clueless about what's happened to the practice.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, I think it is important to select your provider. During your selection, you should truly feel that I love my doctor.
True.
And if you don't feel that, I think it is time that the patient go and experience something different. And so
Well,
try somebody
having a
else.
comparison base, sometimes a person will start there and be like, he's not giving me what I want,
Yes.
and then go out into the world and then come back and want to reestablish.
Totally. You can try the burger from McDonald's, but compare it with the one from Burger King. Eventually, you might just end up eating a burrito from Taco Bell. but at least compare people, compare things, see where your flavor is best.
Yeah, Prime 88. That's a much better one.
Yes. All right.
So Madeline is one of your newer providers.
Yes,
there in the
she's a
office.
physician associate. And what I loved about her is her kindness.
Oh, yeah,
Just
she
her
emulates.
demeanor was just so kind. And like I told you that, earlier when we were chatting off camera, that she might turn into a monster, but who knows? For now.
Behind scenes.
She probably does it at home.
So let me ask you the same question
Take it
that I
out on
asked
Zach.
Dr. G. What was it of all of the things that you could have been in life, a ballerina, a scuba diver, whatever, you chose a PA? What led you to that decision?
So I'm actually the first person in my family that decided that I loved medicine. I'm the first one to go into it. I think just from a young age, I kind of had some exposure to the healthcare system with my aunt when I'd go visit her in the hospital when she was sick.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to see a lot of the physician's assistants at the time taking care and really doing a lot for her. So I was like, who are those people? They're not nurses, they're not the doctors. And so as I went to study in undergrad at USF, then they had a pre-PA society that I joined. And that's when I really fell in love with it, because I got to learn more about the profession, and other PAs would come and talk about their day-to-day and how they get to really spend time with patients. And I feel like I'm a people person, so I like having that one-on-one time with a patient, getting to know them, which we talked about earlier, how we really get that time with the patients.
Right.
So I feel like we get to know them really well. So yeah, I definitely fell in love with the
Actually, we steal
profession.
that one-on-one away from many of them. Because many a times
Yeah.
we have 3 providers in one room, listening to the patient, thinking amongst us, discussing the case. And we're not trainees.
Collaboratively.
We are way better in that situation, collaboratively.
Yeah.
But when you go to a university setting, there's only one fully trained physician and everybody else is a trainee.
Right.
Over here, we have 2, 3 fully trained providers discussing the case in the room. So it raises the level of care and our own exchange of information so
Right.
beautifully.
That's incredible.
It
Your
just
practice
gives
is
me-
so well-rounded, and you're really a teaching office, if you will. I mean,
We
they're
do,
coming to
we do
you.
get students from universities as well.
Mhm.
We teach each other, of course,
Right.
sometimes not so pleasantly.
Well, it's kind of everywhere you go.
Yes.
Before, because we don't have a whole lot of time left, and I mean literally not a whole lot of time left, you do something, though, in your practice that I, living in Hernando County, I am so significantly grateful for. You address addiction and you provide alternatives and help to people who are addicted to pain medications and whatnot.
Yes. So in our practice, we believe that the patient is not a culprit. The patient is a victim.
Yes.
Somebody who got stuck with this has been victimized by an industry. And the industry might be legal or illegal, might be a drug cartel, might be a pharmaceutical company. Thank goodness they nailed down the OxyContin guys. So for me, I want to embrace these people that I feel so sorry that if we in the medical community ever judged you. Because for me, you are somebody special. One of my own family members got stuck with something, and that made me even more sympathetic towards people that say anybody can get stuck.
Right.
And to see them come out of that hole and become themselves, the real themselves that they were in their previous days before this drug or substance or alcohol got them, is such it's a miracle.
It is. And not everybody, not every provider is willing to see a person as a person. They see their addiction. They don't see that that's somebody's daughter, somebody's son, somebody's mother, or otherwise. Thank you so much, both of you, for being here as our guest, for the healthcare, the actual healthcare that you provide in 3 very significant communities in the Nature Coast area. I am personally very grateful for you. I've known you for a number of years now, and the services that you provide at the level of care that you provide is a gold standard, I feel. So thank you so much. Make sure that you follow Absolute Healthcare. Go to their website. You can request an appointment. You can see their list of services. You can check out all of the providers that they have at all 3 of their locations. Follow them on social media and engage with them. Ask them questions. As soon as you go to their website, there's going to be a box that pops up and offers you a chat solution. So thank you again for being on our show. I want to thank Area 52 Media Group, of course, for hosting. And remember, Tarpon Total Healthcare endeavors for you to get out of pain safely so you too can stand corrected.